Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm so excited to be on the call with you all this evening. You know, we meet every Wednesday night, if possible, just to empower each other, to encourage each other. We want to win, and you are the people that are on this call are the ones that want to win. And so we've got to be accountable to each other on a consistent basis. Tonight, you guys, we're going to be talking about communication. And I want to share with you that years ago, I was in another company that they sent some of the top leaders to Mexico, and there was this linguist who was coaching us. And and keep in mind, once again, these were some of the top leaders in this company. And he asked everybody this question. He said, "What is the most significant thing that you can do to reach your goals?" Okay, so I want you to think about that as I'm bringing this up. What is the most significant thing that you can do to reach your goals? So we talked in our, and I know I said, probably thought, write them down. You hear that? Focus. Just be driven, be persistent, just all those things, right? I mean, I know that's probably what you're thinking, but you'd be surprised, and we were surprised when he said communication. And when you think about it, communication really is the key, because communication is how we express to others the goals we're trying to reach, or even the people that we're talking to reach our goals. Communication, none of the things that we're doing do not happen if we don't open up our mouth and express what we want to do. And so hopefully by the end of this call, you can see what I'm referring to when I say communication is probably one of the most significant things that you can do to win and to reach your goals. So what I'm going to do is just talk about a few things. Now, let me just say this to you all. Something has been going on with my Microsoft. I don't know what it is. So if it seems kind of crazy what I'm, the way I'm bringing this stuff up, then you understand why. Let me see if I can get to the screen I need to get to. So hopefully you can see my screen. So we all know that this is the Power of Six call, and the Power of Six call is designated for those of us who are focused and motivated to win, and we're going to surround ourselves with people just like ourselves. So that's what the purpose of this call is. And so every week we talk about things that's going to help us win. So I just told you the communication is the fuel to propel you to win. And there are different forms and levels of communication. We're going to talk about all three. But first of all, we all know organizational type of communication. When you get group texts, the websites that we go to, those are generic, those are general types of communication that you want to make sure that everybody you've enrolled follows this system. So for example, if you're the kind of person that like to use text messages, you want to send those text messages to the people you personally enroll. Not everybody in your organization, but the people you enroll. And we've had a call before where people have different types of tools that they use instead of necessarily a group text. They may use a Telegram group or something like that. That's what I mean by organizational. The websites we used, this is it team, this is it info, all of that is a type of organizational communication. I made these titles up. I didn't get them from anywhere, so I don't know what the levels of communication are, but this is what I'm using. Informational, so it's such the opportunity calls, the trainings like we're on right now. Those are informational types of calls, and it's a form of communication that is necessary for you to be successful. And then we have strategic types of communication, such as coaching and planning. And then I do have people on the call that I want to demonstrate, what I'm talking about. Let me see if this first person that I'm looking for is on the call. Yeah, I do see that person. So I'm giving you an example what I mean when I say strategic. There's a young lady that I'm going to introduce you to in a moment, and she and her brother and one more partner out of Seattle, they got enrolled. They partnered with us, and we were literally about to go to the convention. And so I asked this question. See, keep in mind, we're talking about communication. I asked her this question. I didn't ask anybody but her this question. I said, and her name is Yolanda. I said, Yolanda, do you want to win? Do you want to move fast through this? You know, and she says, of course, I want to move fast. I says, okay, so certain things I'm gonna ask you to do. And I asked her, I said, you know, you understand that success loves speed. We have to do this fast. I'm about to go to the convention. And what I want to do when I come back for the convention, the following Saturday, I want to do 2 launch calls. And at Sunday, I wanted to do 2. So there was going to be 4 launch calls to launch her and her team's business in Seattle, because my goal was to get them to director and then go to Seattle. So that's a strategic call, right? So I asked her the question and she said, of course. So I'm going to now ask Yolanda to come on. Yolanda, unmute yourself and share your video and just kind of explain to everybody how that conversation went and then what resulted from all of this.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
And
So
wait a
yeah,
minute,
can you hear me?
congratulations though for hitting manager.
Yes.
Congratulations for hitting manager this weekend. Go
Thank
ahead.
you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. So again, I was very excited when Renita asked me the question because, yeah, I want to win and I want to win fast. I see the opportunity and I'm really not playing with this opportunity. And so when she talked to me, what I did was I wrote down my list. I started with my list. I wrote down a list of 55 people. And not only that, Bernita had also told me her strategy when she first started. She said that she had, she got the diamond. She had so many patches to be able to give out, and she wrote down her couple. She wrote down the singles, and then she started making the phone calls. And that's what I did. I took that and I was coachable, and I said I'm gonna do the same thing. She didn't ask me to do it, but I said I'm gonna do that because if I have it on paper, then I know that I will make sure that I look at it and I execute. I make those phone calls. I invite the folks who I want to come to see this business. And so I wrote my list of 55 people and I started calling them. Letting them know that I got my hands on we got our hands on a big opportunity where we're launching our business, and we want them to be the first one to get to see it before we launch it bigger in Seattle. And so I started inviting. And by the time we had our meeting that Saturday, I had a goal. My goal was to make manager by Sunday. Okay. So I knew I needed 4 people, 2 on each side. And that was my goal. And we had our lunch meetings. We had actually 2 on Saturday, and we ended up doing 1 on Sunday because of people's schedule and because of Sunday, being church. So we decided to do 1 on Sunday evening, which was good because Seattle time, 6:00. It's late for Atlanta time, but we decided to go ahead and make that 1 call. We have the folks join the call and learned about the opportunity. And then that was great. And then what I did to follow up from that is I gave them a call. I asked them, what did you think about what you heard? Are you ready to get started? Where would you like to get started? And they were like, okay. And so I explained the different packages, and we got those 4 folks enrolled by that Sunday. So I made my goal, and I'm so excited because I'm running to director as well. I already have 2 folks ready to sign up. So I know I need 2 more on each side. And I'm also supporting a couple of those folks that I've already enrolled to be managers, because by Sunday, I want to be director. So that is my goal. And I've been executing that and being coachable. And yeah, just going through the process. I'm excited. They see my excitement and they want to know more.
Yeah, and I'm gonna just ask you one more question. In your conversations about the opportunity, did the subject of the product come up at all, stem cell technology? Did that come up?
When I was calling them? Making my call. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. So another thing I did, which I didn't say, is I created a Google form, so I got my 55 folks there. And then on the other spreadsheet, I wrote me like a little script, right? Of what I wanted to say, as far as so I can just, remember what I want to say and let the conversation be smooth. And so absolutely it did. I told them that we have our hands on the health technology and about the stem cells. And this is a great opportunity for them to come and learn about it and what they'd like to be my guest to come. So I did. I had a script that I wrote up.
So
Yeah.
Yolanda just demonstrated that she was focused. I mean, she had a goal in mind, but on the front end, what I'm trying to get here, help you understand, everybody, is that It was almost like I gave her instructions. This is what I expect because I want to pour into you. And see,
Yeah.
everybody may not feel that way, but if I pour into you, and that's why we're talking about like-minded people. I recognize Yolanda as a like-minded person, and I wanted to get her permission because if I don't get her permission, then it's a waste of my time. I have to get her to agree. Okay, Yolanda, you said you want this. This is what it's going to take. And this is what it's going to take for me to come to Seattle. And
Yes.
she did it. And she said she's not messing around. She hit manager in really in one weekend, really as a result of those calls. And really more people are interested. Some of them just had to wait for whatever the reason is. So
Mhm.
thank you so much,
Thank
Yolanda,
you.
for demonstrating, for demonstrating to us what it means to have a strategic call. We're gonna see you soon, a director, and we'll see you in Seattle.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And so, getting back to the PowerPoint, um, I talked about strategic. Now, there was another team that I had a strategic, but a planning call with. Okay. We were getting ready to go to Charlotte and Fayetteville. I gave them specifically instructions of what I expected. So I'm saying this to say that sometimes you have to take the liberty to provide. Everybody doesn't know what to do. And if you know what to do, you find out what to do by getting on calls like this and by being coached. When you know what to do and what to expect, you have to pass that information. You guys, communication is so important. Don't assume people know what to do. Don't be afraid. Most people like you to tell them what to do because if you've been successful, they want to know what you did to be successful. But I also want to introduce someone else to you who demonstrates the leadership skills. Literally tonight, he just he hit the level of director tonight. But he's a perfect example of someone who is very strategic in his business. And so I want to invite to the call Mr. Anthony Stroman, or Doctor. Is it Dr. Anthony Stroman?
Can you hear me,
Yeah,
Rudita?
I can hear you.
Trying to get my video up. Oh, yes. Yes, I mean,
Dr. Anthony Stroman, I don't want to not
no,
recognize that.
Anthony is fine, even though
Okay,
Dr. Anthony is fine, not a problem. Thank you, Bernita. Thank you very much. I want to congratulate Yolanda. What an amazing journey.
yeah. But Anthony, what I want you to do, because I know that you are killing it. You are traveling, you're putting all these groups together. You're doing some things that most people don't even think about doing, but I also know you had a platform in place and you were very intentional about taking an existing platform that you had for years and making LifeWave the focus of your platform. So tell everybody what you did and how this has helped you so much.
Thank you so much, Bernita. Well, basically, for many years, I started a movement called the Success Triangle Movement. And I've been doing that for quite some time, and I'll very quickly break it down. And when my dear friend, Mr. Hawkins, introduced me to this amazing company, I quickly thought about the fact that if I can incorporate what I'm already doing to match this crusade that I started many years ago. I've been in health and wellness for a long time. I've been a certified hydration specialist for a long time. So I've been in the circle. So I do a lot of seminars. So I'm gonna break this down very quickly. So what I did, I was already doing TV shows, podcasts, conferences, et cetera, all over the country. So what I did, I said, okay, how can I match what I'm already doing to explode LifeWave? And so my movement basically is what I call the success triangle. It's really three things. When I got the revelation that no matter what you do in life, these three things, if you want to master life, these three things you want to pay attention to. And the first one is always the most important thing that I start off with is mastering headquarters. Now, what does that mean? Well, it is that powerful computer between your ears, 6 inches. Okay. I realized that when you talk about business, health, or whatever you're doing, if you don't master the thought life, it's not going to happen. And so I always start everything I do a lot of different talks. It's all about mastering headquarters. The second part is how to take care and master your billion-dollar temple. So I thought about LifeWave. That was simple and easy to incorporate taking care of your billion-dollar temple. And the third area of the triangle is how to destroy debt. Now, let me break this down this way. First thing is headquarters. Nothing changes until your mind changes. And one of the challenges that I've seen working with people all over the country is that a lot of time things is in our conscious mind, but that's not where your change takes place. They don't realize that you have to go a little deeper. So you have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. So I always tell people nothing changes until your mind changes about your health and your business, okay? So I talk to people about, do you want to perform surgery on poverty thinking? Do you want us to do spiritual heart surgery? Because I get into their mind because I can identify by having questions where the headquarters is, and that helps me to customize my communication that we're talking about tonight, because we know we have different personalities. There's some people, if you talk about $100,000 a month, their belief system can't handle that. Some people, $5,000, yes. You have to identify the mentality of the person, because sometimes you talk big numbers, if the headquarters is not right for it, their belief system can't handle it, right? So what I did was, when I talk to people, I use a consultant approach. I use a pile of questions. So when I'm talking to people about mindset, okay, I always ask certain questions. What keeps you up at night? Okay, I want to know, what are your dreams and aspirations? Do you want to live an almost life or full life? Do you want to live a victorious life? What's holding you back? And I just sit there and ask questions to identify what's important to them. And then we have a conversation without no condemnation, how we can put a master plan to get that done. So many times when I'm talking about headquarters, one of the things I'm always hitting is belief, because we got two different beliefs. You got a belief and unbelief, they're together. But if the unbelief, I don't see myself being whatever level in life wave, it's not going to happen, okay? But you do it in a conversational way to use the mirror effect and let them see what the possibilities are, okay? Because again, it's all about your belief system, okay? The next thing I talk about is the brain. And you might say, well, Mr. Stroman, you start your seminars? Yes, because I want you to understand we got this brain, but we don't have a manual how to operate. So I call it mind management. How do you bulletproof your mind? Because as we build these empires around the world, we have to protect the mindsets of our family, and these are brand partners. Because you know what's going to happen. They're going to come again. So many people are going to talk dreams, dream killers, dream, whatever you want to call it. That's going to happen. So I'm very adamant about protecting the mindset of the person, because I know what's going to happen. I prepared them mentally for that. Call your family, your friends. This can possibly happen. But now they're mentally strong and ready. They're going to say, Dr. Stroman told me that this would happen. Now it's not heavy. It's not a rejection, because, they're prepared. So I believe in preparing people in that way. So the belief system is the key. Here's what I know. There's something more powerful than your brain, which is your mind. Now, the spirit, the mind, and the physical brain, all this is connected together. I don't have time to unpack it. But when you talk to people, because I know the heart is the source of change. See, people trying to change and they don't change. Change is not change until you change, and you will stay in change. So when you identify that with somebody and let them see it, I don't tell them, I ask questions so it can be revealed to them. Then they understand, they say, oh, I see what's holding me back. Because the heart is the source of change. Change does not happen unless it's in your heart. And that's the biggest challenge with a lot of people, because it's in their conscious mind, but it's not in their subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is the most powerful thing that you have in your mind. But understanding how the mind works, then you're able to communicate with people with no judgment, okay? So the heart is where the real decisions are made. I talk to people about, and I can identify if they don't have a complete download. So what happens is in their conscious mind, and just with a conversation, asking questions, they don't have a complete download. But they don't know what I'm doing. I know it in the conversation because I ask questions. And then I help them throughout that process to elevate their mind to another level. Now, information does not bring transformation, conversion does. You can have, we got outstanding leaders. My dear friend, Mr. Harkins, Verdita, Mr. Robinson, Eric, we got phenomenal leaders. And that's one of the blessings that we have in this company is nothing happened without leadership. But at the same time, if we don't get into the mind, and when I do these seminars, and that's why a lot of time when I do the seminar, they wonder why they want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. I always talk the language of crusade, because people will do things, if it's part of a crusade that means something, they get on board, Okay. So I want to find out, do you want to be a part of a crusade? Okay. Because this information that we get on a regular basis, it's in the conscious mind. That's why people don't change. And it's like a merry-go-round, but they can't identify it. They don't know, man, I keep doing the same thing, saying the same thing. And I tell them, everybody's supposed to be living a victorious life. You have a choice to live that victorious life. And so when I incorporate LifeWave, even when I'm talking about headquarters, I tell people, do you want to have we help people to have healthy bodies and healthy bank accounts. Does that interest you? Healthy bodies and healthy bank accounts. Is that something important to you? Okay. Now, the bottom line is this. Nothing's going to change as we build these empires unless there's conviction. I don't care what we say, what we do, it's about conviction. And you will tell if the person have conviction or not, because people can say anything. I brought something to the world, Verdita, called lip aerobics. I do these little stromanase and create these little things for myself called lip aerobics. They sound good, okay? But the test is when your behavior is what tells me everything about you. Now, we give people grace. We understand that you don't get it the first time. But over a period of time, and then I can identify, now I'm going to coach you and say, listen, you said you wanted to be this. Were you deceiving yourself or were you being honest about that? So I go through this process of a consultant. I'm good at asking questions, identifying, do you want to have freedom or do you want to stay in bondage? Okay, I ask point blank questions. Do you want your family to be elevated or do you want them to stay the same? Because nothing changes until your mind changes. So you can live a victorious life. We have the platform. We can help you to master headquarters, master your billion-dollar temple with these wonderful patches, and the destroying debt, because I have a financial background. You want to destroy debt? You need to be a brand partner, and you can destroy debt. Back to you, Levita.
Wow, and that's how you're signing up so many people. That's how because every time I turn, you're enrolling a new person. Because I think you told me also that by the time you finish talking about the mind, the temple, and the debt, they're they're ready to sign up.
Exactly.
And I think I shared with you that I was a part of an organization before, and all of you know that when we started our presentation for LifeWay, we started talking about, we may tell our little story, and then we started talking about the product and on in. Whereas I was in an organization before, and a gentleman who was a top money earner, every single time he did a presentation, he started out with mindset. And by the time, but I'm telling you, he didn't say anything about the company, nothing. By the time he finished with that, no matter whatever else came out of his mouth, you was ready to sign up. I'm telling you, we were ready to sign up. So thank you so much, Anthony, and also congratulations. I mean, I don't know how you do it, but I think you said you just did. That was the reason you had already set up a big conference where it was 5 churches that came together for this conference you did. Is that correct?
Yes, 2 wonderful ladies in our organization put it together. And it was interesting because one of the things that I love, it's kind of funny when I talk to church people sometimes, it's interesting because a lot of time we get perspiration, but we don't get information.
Okay.
And so we had a great time and people said, okay, I want to be a part of this. And matter of fact, we got a manager from that particular meeting and we're going back there to do it again. So we're going to do it all the time.
Right. And so that's that crusade. So yes, you guys, thank you so much, Anthony, for such
welcome.
powerful
My
information and sharing. And Anthony demonstrated exactly what I'm talking about when I'm talking about strategy. You have to strategize to do. You cannot just, say I'm going to do something. It takes time. So he had to communicate with these different pastors and different people in order to make that happen. So let's get back to the PowerPoint. Thank you so much. I know you all are impressed. Well, and see, keep in mind, this is something that Anthony's been doing for years, but now he made his decision that the LifeWave is going to be, I mean, he's already told me that everything he's doing, all the traveling he's doing is specifically for LifeWave, not just to be doing something. He's incorporating LifeWave in it. Now, let me get to the next slide. Now, I want to talk about the welcome call, you guys, because this is very important. Now, the welcome call is something I've told you all about many times. When you get a new partner, some people remember coming to this business just to use the product, and some people come in to make money. Here's what you want to know is when they say, yeah, I want to make money, you want to ask them, you want to take your time and as you meet people, share it and make money, or do you want to win? Do you want to really win big? There's a difference. If they say, well, as I don't mind sharing, then that's not the kind of person that you necessarily want to introduce to your sponsor. The person I'm just telling you my opinion, okay? The people that I want you to introduce to me are those people who need to know that, listen, I got 2 or 3 levels of leadership. Like, say, for example, Robin Clark is on the line. I'm seeing her name pop up on the screen. I personally enrolled Robin Clark. I personally enroll her, and if she enrolls a new person and they say they really want to win big, then Robin knows that they need to know that there's another layer of leadership that's above her that can answer any questions if she's not available, because Robin probably can answer all of those questions, but she may need another layer if she's not available. If I'm not available, Ken Robinson, who's my sponsor, you don't go through 2 or 3 levels of a leadership like that if the person is not serious. Seriously. No one has time, like personally, we've got over 5,000 people on our team. I don't have time to talk to 5,000 people. So it's very important that you determine what caliber person is the kind of person you want to introduce to your upline. Okay. And, but they are going to need our support, like I remember once when, I think Robin was out of town on family, something, whatever. And the people that she said, these people, Verdita, I'm working very closely with, and I'm asked them to reach out to you if they need some help over this weekend. See, that's communication too. See, that's what I'm saying. Communication is so important. So that's what you want to do with the welcome call. Excuse me. Now, next thing I want to talk about is, I think it is, let's see. Okay, etiquette, you guys. Listen, etiquette is so important. Phone etiquette. There's several things I want to say about phone etiquette. When you call someone, or before you even call it, I would say text them. Can you talk for a moment? Let's just say you're trying to reach your upline or another team member. You want to text them, do you have a moment to talk? Don't just, it's okay to call them, especially if you got that kind of relationship, but if you do call them, the first thing you want to do is clear their schedule. You got a moment? You got a moment to talk? Because if you don't do that, now it's just like disrespecting their time. I'm telling you, you have no idea. There are some people that will call me, and y'all know me. Anybody on this call that's ever called me, I pick the phone up right away, but most of the time. If I don't pick the phone up, it's because I either have it on mute and don't hear it, or I'm not in the same or something like that, but I always answer the phone as quickly as possible. So, and then I make an assessment at that time, do I have time to talk or whatever? But it's more respectful, I think, if you need something specific, text and say, do you have a moment to talk? Because it just respects that person's time. Also, when you get on that phone, like I said, clear their schedule. Do you have a moment? Also, stick to the subject. Keep in mind, people don't have a whole lot of time to talk about a whole lot of life things. It's not, we want to establish relationships, don't get me wrong, but we're running a business. So stick to the subject, because, a person doesn't want to be rude to you and say, hey, I got to go, or stick to the, they don't want to say that to you. I'm saying to you, stick to the subject, because you got to respect that person's time. Also, let me go back to, because I can't remember all this stuff. Team calls. When you're on team calls, please, get on the calls on early, not on time. Not 9 o'clock was when we started this call and only 6 or 7 people were on here. Get on the calls on time so that you hear all the information. And see, then somebody said, well, I didn't hear that part. Can you repeat it again? No, I can't. That's why we got the recording. But it's just a organizational call where we want everybody on time. That's team etiquette when you get on calls. And don't just take over the calls when you get a chance to talk. That's important too. Edification. When you're edifying someone, this is what it simply means. You want the person who you're introducing to. Let's say you got a new prospect or a new partner, and you want to edify your sponsor. You want to be sincere what you're saying. Say, for example, if you was edifying me, you might say something like, I'm so happy to be able to work with Verdita and Harvey Monk, because they really care about making a difference in people's lives. You know, people that we call whales, that those are the people that are motivated to help people. They like when they hear that. They're really helping a lot of people. They like helping people. And you know, they're very knowledgeable, you know, about the business itself as well as the compensation plan. They're very knowledgeable, and I'm telling you, I'm so thankful to work around them because they make it fun to work with. And you know, and then you know, they're reached the top, you know, very significant position in our company. But see, what I've had people do, that's why I say not overwhelming. I've had people do when they've introduced me. I mean, they go on and on and on and on and on. I mean, for real. I'm just saying all these things, and that's nice, but the person don't really care about all of that, and it just sounds phony. So just be natural, you know, when you edify, but do edify. I had a person edify me today. I mean, you know, I've taken the time out to go out of my way to do a call for them. And all these people on the call, they really didn't edify me. They didn't even really introduce me. I had to ask them if they would introduce me. I just assumed this person knew this because, you know, I won't go into that, but you've got to edify, and learn the secret to edification, because it is very, very important, you guys. I think that's, yeah. So for those of you who have never seen the Power of Six before, I just want you to know, you got to be patient. If you get the right people on your team, they're going to be motivated to make, you know, the money, and you got to be patient. You won't see a lot of binary commissions at first with the first 40 something people. But by the time you get, you know, it's all about getting the right 6 people, those people that are going to take you to director and take you to the top of the company. You will not get to the top of company getting 4 people. You have to have 6, and it has to duplicate. You want to spend your time with those 6 people and just keep duplicating till they get the right 6 as well. And that's what we're doing. So with that being the case, I do have a couple of other people on the call. Let me make sure they're still here before I call on them. And they don't even know, I think they just left a call. Okay. But either way, I think they've left the call. But I want to say that we still, you guys, we still have the Punta Cana trip coming up. For those of you who want to participate, you can make it. All you got to do is, you know, bring people in. You get points for enrolling people. You get points for upgrading people. Go to thisisitteam.com and go to downloads and look for the form on the left-hand side, and it shows you how to accumulate your points. So you can do it. And I won't go through the training on that, but it is, you know, we'll do it individually if you need more explanation. But we want to encourage you to get to Punta Cana. And also, so many people are asking about the convention in October. This is the national convention. Those tickets sold out a long time ago. However, I think someone texted me yesterday and said that they had emailed some people. I don't know if they go through a bunch of people to see if the tickets that were released are taken. And then if they are not all taken, they go to another group, because they probably can't release it to everybody at the same time. But just look out for an email from corporate to see if, you know, any tickets come, because this is going to be a phenomenal event. You definitely want to attend if you get an opportunity to. It is our 20th anniversary. And if you cannot attend, if you do not get a chance to attend, it will be virtual. There will be a cost associated with it, but I encourage you all to do those watch parties. And same thing that happened with This Is It team, the Believe Convention, that recording will be available for 45 days. Y'all know I do at the end of the call, always open up the call for any questions or comments before we end the call. Does anybody want to unmute themselves and share any comments or questions? But I think you hopefully, now that you understand why communication is important. We demonstrated with Yolanda. She knew what to do. She knew why to do it. Anthony, he already had a system in place. He just implemented and interjected LifeWave into this system. That's just, and some of these other things we talked about. Anybody got any questions or comments before we end the call?
Verdita, I have a question. This is Gwen. Thank you so much.
Remember, Gwen?
Thank you so much for everything. This was exciting right here tonight. I'm telling you, great information. So the
You gotta
playback.
show your video, Gwen.
No, I can't.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
I just came in. Yeah, I've been running all day, but I just got one question. How do we get get the playback? Do we go to This Is It or
Oh, you
to
talking about for the convention?
yeah,
Which,
the convention?
corporate is that's a corporate convention, and you talking about for
No, I mean for Florida, Orlando.
oh, they'll make it available. I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask, and I know okay. I'll send a text to Steve or Gina because I know they said for those people who attended the convention, the recording will be available for 45 days, and then those people who purchased the virtual ticket, it would be available for
Right.
45 days. Does anybody know the answer to that question? Does anybody know the answer to the question
Hey,
about the recording being
yeah.
available?
Hi, Bernita. I don't know why it's Renee.
Hey, Renee.
So, hey, so on the This Is It Facebook page, Steve's been posting, every day or so, early in the mornings that the editors are working steadfast on editing the video, but that the recording should be available soon. And then once it's released, it'll be 45 days. So they're still clipping it and cleaning it up for us.
And will it go to the people who attended? Would they automatically get an email or something? Do you know?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been a
So-
pretty popular question in the Facebook group. So they say that everybody will receive an email that attended.
So there's another example of a person who is very plugged in, Renee Waite. It says Tony Waite, that's her husband's name, but she is very resourceful and plugged in. That Facebook page, if you're not on it, This Is It Team, go to Facebook if you're on Facebook and connect to This Is It Team, because a lot of communication from our upline comes from that. And I will tell you this, Steve Merritt told me, Ken Robinson told me, and then he found out for himself when he came up with that Digital Alliance website. Every time they send a text message out to the group, it costs them $1,500. So that's why that team Facebook page is so important, because that's the way they communicate a lot of times, you guys. So just want you to know. Thank you, Renee. We'll look out for it. And are there any more questions or comments? What is this? What is it you're posting, Yolanda?
Okay,
What is
I had been on YouTube, and I believe this is from Saturday, the conference that happened in Florida.
Okay, so
it's,
maybe
it's an hour and 40 minutes, so I'm not sure if it's an entirety, but it's quite a bit there.
okay, so that might be it. But they still editing it as well. So yeah, go to YouTube. And what did you do? Just search for Belief Conference or something?
Yeah, I just did a search,
Okay.
and it
So
came
that's
up.
somewhere to
but
start, but I didn't think they
that's-
would make it available to everybody, but okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, that's the link right there. You can get started. Just click
Okay,
on it.
anytime
Save it.
something is recorded on Zoom or whatever, it's going to show up on YouTube some kind of way. So Yolanda did get that. She did. That's another thing about Yolanda. She had just signed up and she got connected to the Believe Conference. They got that virtual ticket. So I'm proud of them, and that's why they're so excited as well. Any other questions or comments? Okay, listen, I'll send the recording out probably tomorrow morning or something, but thank you all so much for your time. And let's just go and reach out to your team and find out what they need to do to get there. Every call is different. We can't talk about everything on every call, but just find out what they need to get to the next level. Ask them, do you want to win? And do you want to win in a big way? What do you want to do? And that way you know who to spend your time with. And that's the right people. All right. You all have a good evening. We'll talk to you soon. See y'all at the top.